Every scar tells a tale untold. Every breath makes the night grow cold. The hunter's heart and the prey's last rhyme all collide in the world of true crime. Truth is lurking in the lies they feed. Justice waits.
I had enough.
Well, you drove out there into the middle of nowhere and had some sort of loud verbal display challenging ET in general out in the middle of nowhere?
That's what I was doing. I actually had a pistol in my hand at the time. I was really ticked off. When I was having this fit, I was waving the gun in the air, okay, and I had this fit. And at this moment, I said, okay.
He was a Louisiana man named Montaldo. Folks around called him Six Gun Joe. Worked with ICAR, don't you know? Investigating UFOs. Out for a drive with a gal one night, they stopped to check out the reporting site. When an alien lit right there on the ground, commenced to throwing his weight around. Now, old Six Gun didn't take too kindly to that kind of thing, especially without Vaseline or anything like that, you know. Seriously. Well, Six Gun looked that critter right in the eye and said, "Any last wish before you die?" Yo, reached for his gun, quick as a twitch, and said, "Fill your claw, you son of a bitch." Now a legend spread across the land about this pistol-waving man. But if you're from space or from Earth below, you don't give no lip to Six Gun Joe.
Are you ready to explore the unknown? Dive into the world of the strange, mysterious, and unexplained with Eerie Expeditions magazine. Each issue is packed with spine-tingling tales, cutting-edge paranormal investigations, and exclusive insights into hauntings, cryptids, UFOs, and more. Whether you're a seasoned investigator or just love a good ghost story, Eerie Expeditions magazine has something for you. Join our growing community of truth seekers and adventure lovers. Subscribe today at EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com and unlock the secrets of the supernatural. Are you ready? That's EerieExpeditionsMagazine.com, where the extraordinary is just a click away.
What's out there? What creates the shadows in the corners or the creatures of the dark? Who are those on the other side? What do they have to say? This is the Gateway Podcast. This is not your normal style of paranormal talk radio. Brought to you live from United Public Radio Network, 107.7 FM New Orleans.
Different than our positive personalities. It's not necessarily that one's better or worse than the other. They're just different. Their psychic abilities tend to stand out more. They tend to be more go-getters. They tend to want to be more involved with things on the planet. No one knows where our negative came from. It appeared 35 or 45,000 years ago out of the blue, and for no reason. As far as I know, Mother Nature didn't need it. It's not us doing this. It's something else. When I talk to scientists about this, or somebody in the hematological world, I ask them, I said, okay, O negative is only 7% of the world's population. I said, what is it? They can't answer me. He said, all we can tell you is it's the purest form of blood known to man and is the universal donor. They don't like hearing the UFO or the alien word, but even they can't deny it could be a possibility. I don't know if they're ignoring it or just not saying anything to us about it. And the other weird thing about this is 40,000 years ago, it was 1% RH negative. Today, I think it's up to about 18%. It's growing. We lived in a brown-haired, brown-eyed, brown-skinned planet for 2 million years. And then all of a sudden, this emerges on the scene. We start having these mutations. There was a lot of societies down there that seemed to worship aliens, and now we find out that there's a huge segment of the population that was up. And no one can explain it. After 2 million years of evolution with RH positive and brown eyes and brown hair, we've changed. We've come to the conclusion that somebody's definitely interfering in our society. They do seem to interfere with our population. The three major races that visit here are the three blood types we carry today. The Greys are the ones that instituted the RH negative, probably brought O and O negative to us. The human aliens, from every description I've got from anybody who's been abducted, look somewhat like us, but their heads are deeper than ours are. They're taller than us, they're heavier than us, they have 6 fingers, 6 toes. They look a lot like us, but they don't even breathe the atmosphere because originally in the original Sumerian stories, they said they built 2 great white dome cities because they couldn't live in our atmosphere of our planet. That race created a subspecies of themselves, which created the subspecies of us. The Sumerian stories talk about the 7 creations of man with the subspecies of us procreate. It became the aggressive race that's here today, us. Technically, we have all 3 of the alien races' blood in us, so eventually one day in 100 million years, we're going to surpass them. Do you want the species that's here today in deep space more advanced than the 3 most advanced races in the galaxy? No, that's not what they want. They want us to be an equal race, but not a race that's going to go out and conquer and destroy. The Greys and the reptilians and humans say, we may have made a mistake here. And ever since then, they've been trying to correct it. For the most part, we really do think that it is to move us forward as a society. Everybody I know with RH positive thinks, well, are we being left behind? I said, no, you're being bred out. There's a difference. And what I mean by that is you're not being left behind. Eventually, we're just going to breed ourselves out in a different type of species, more telepathic, probably more honest. Green and blue eyes and RH negative is a mutation. It's not a naturally occurring thing in our body. Other than alien contact, no one can give me an explanation for where this came from, or why it's here, or why it's pushing so hard through our DNA in our life. It seems to be moving faster than it should be.
Watch what eggs do to your brain. Take a look at these 2 brain scans. They both look young, strong, and healthy, but only one of them is young. The other is the brain of a 97-year-old woman. Her secret? Doing this one.
Hey. Nice picture of your chest and belly there. Your mic must be muted. Well, welcome everybody while he knocks his camera over to UFO Undercover. I am not Doomsday Jay because that's for the Friday show, but welcome aboard, everyone. Well, your camera fell down. Your mic just came up and then went out again, and your camera's on the floor. I see your mic icon, but it is still muted. Well, while he's getting his studio back together, Joe, I hope you can hear me. I got some cool stuff today from the Ridge line, the NASA keyring, and the NASA part. The white part glows in the dark. I haven't tried it yet. I just got it, so I haven't even opened it up yet. And then I got a matching NASA wallet for it. And again, the white part glows in the dark. So I know this isn't an unboxing show, but to keep everybody entertained while we get our fearless leader back in. Pretty cool box. I got this today, Joe. I don't know if you got your ears in or not. Glow-in-the-dark NASA key ring. Glow-in-the-dark NASA Ridge wallet. Yeah, I still can hear you. Your mic icon disappeared again. Very cool. Now there's the wallet. Nope, can't hear you still. The icon has come up and disappeared, but when it comes up, it's always on mute. Okay, the camera icon's on, so hit the mute button, unmute yourself. And nothing. It disappeared again. I hope you haven't pissed off Mr. Netanyahu. Maybe he did something to your mic. Still not working. Nothing. Maybe you need to reboot? I don't know. No, I can't hear you.
I like that.
There it is. I heard you.
I don't know how you heard me.
I hear you now. Hang on a second. Say something.
Okay, hello.
Yeah, I hear you.
All right, what the hell do I have unplugged?
I don't know. Now I can't hear you. Welcome everyone to Mercury retrograde. So far, it's only affecting Joe's machine. You had it going there for a minute. Let me try. All right. Joe popped out, and we'll pop back in a second here. So why would extraterrestrials come here? How long? I have to read the bottom thing so I know what we're talking about tonight. How long have they been here? Hello, Mrs. Blackmore. And what do they want with us? Saul. Sol is our solar system, and my guess is upwards of perhaps a couple 100 million years. Some race, and I'm not sure which race it is. If you read the Utopia, not Utopia Planitia, what is it? It's a series of chapters put together by a man who allegedly channeled in how the universe was created. So one of those races says that's them. I don't know, but minimum, Joe, to answer your first question, how long have the aliens been coming here? My earliest best guesstimate would probably be somewhere on the order of 100 million years ago at the latest. That'd be like the earliest they show up.
Okay, can you still hear me?
Now I can hear you, definitely, yes.
Okay, because I hear it making weird sounds. I don't know what it was. I restarted it. This computer seems to be having USB problems.
No, it could be.
Of course, this mic and setup is more on 12 years old, 11 years old for sure. So it's one of those things that happen sometimes.
Yeah, and the mic you have is pretty good. My friend has the exact mic, and the one I moved out to Arizona, and I've not used his mic, but I've heard him through his mic, and you through yours. It seems to, when it works, it's great.
Yeah, you'll see him on lots of podcasts if you. I mean, it's a good mic. It does its job, but it is getting old. I may have to start using the Snowball, but the Snowball doesn't have a earpiece.
I have to.
But I can just bypass it.
There's a poop in here. Hang on a second.
Yeah, I can bypass it. So, ladies and gentlemen, sorry for all of that. Too bad we can't edit all of that out. But at least you got to hear the blood type stuff and stuff like that. I don't know. That's 3 weeks in a row we've had some kind of issue. It's weird because we go years without having an issue, and then all of a sudden it's like bam, 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 bam. Well, we had an issue a couple of weeks ago where nobody could hear anything, and then just now, of course, you couldn't hear me. And then the other day we had some weird glitch where StreamYard gave us the same code as the code we used the night before. So it was what it was. It was a little bit on the strange.
I was kind of wondering when they were going to run out of, invite codes.
Well, I don't know what that was about.
Short, for such a private thing.
It's weird. So Friday night, our Friday night show, News on the Flip Side. When I logged in to Arthur's Quill the next day and started sending out codes, they were sending them to our show from the night before.
Wow.
And people kept writing back to me. I see this, this, and this. I said, you're not even in the room. How can you see anything? And then one of them said something about depiction, and I realized they were in the wrong chat room. So I was like, well, this is not going to work. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, enough for all that crap. I hope everyone's having a good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are on our beautiful big blue planet. If you're in Iran or Israel or Ukraine or Russia, duck is all I can tell you.
Duck or get out.
Yeah, or get out, It's fixing to get more heated in all 4 of these countries. So I would get out. No, Russia's not here. Russia's not safe. They're fixing to give the Ukrainians big missiles to go deep into Russia. So, nobody's going to be safe. Well, Europe's pretty safe.
Who's giving the missiles? We are.
Germany's definitely giving them some big ones. And the UK now said they're going to give them some big ones. And the UK said they might even put ground troops to keep them from getting any further into the country. Not to attack Russia, but to work as a security barrier to keep them from making any more progress.
Oh, wow.
Look, people, we'll talk more about this on Friday night. There's lots to talk about. I mean, I've been watching the bombings. I almost converted this show into a News on the Flip Side because
I was thinking you might.
Yeah, I really was seriously thinking about it because they've been bombing the living daylights out of stuff. I've been watching them live for 3 nights in a row. The first night was crazy. The poor guy in the balcony, I forgot who he was. I think I was watching Newsmax or somebody. He was running around like a chicken with his head cut off trying to find his gear. He's looking for his bulletproof vest. He was looking for his helmet. I think you'd have all that shit right next to you for when the shit hits the fan, you'd be okay. But obviously not so much.
Well, when this all started on Monday evening, Mike Angley from the network, he contacted me while I was watching TV around 9:15ish, 9 o'clock. wanting to go on, and I wasn't sure whose shows were on Mondays between 9 and 11. But I was like, yeah, if you want to do it, I can come on, but I could only stay till like 10:30, maybe 11 at the latest, because I have to go to work in the morning and get up at 6 a.m. So
Yeah, he's if I remember correctly, 9 and 11 on both Monday and Tuesday is free right now. But you never would know with Michelle; she's constantly adding shows.
yeah, that's why I said if you want to do one, talk to Joe or Michelle, and I'll pop in with you for an
Yeah,
hour. An hour and a half.
yeah, just text the boss lady; she'll tell you what she's got.
Yeah.
She just gets pissed when we go live over somebody else. Because it's taking listeners away from a show. It's not. It's if you're recording, it's one thing, but if you're broadcasting live, it takes away a whole different
You could have
thing.
recorded it too, yeah, but
Yeah, I mean, you can always record and air it later. But Kirby, to answer your question, yeah, Friday will be pretty intense. There's a lot to talk about, and think there'll be another day of news before we get to it.
They might be. I mean, when the Israelis started this campaign deep in Iran, I believe it was Sunday night for us, but Monday morning for them. It was like 4 o'clock in the morning here. So I mean, I think if any new volleys, big assaults come, it's going to be early in the morning. I mean, most of us will probably.
Well, I've noticed with Iran anyway. They've been doing it all night long. They start. They send a couple, they send a couple more, they send a couple more. It's almost like they've got people on the ground testing the areas where they should be launching their missiles. Because I imagine their missile payload's getting a little low right now.
Well, they sent, the first volleys, they sent an estimated 180 missiles, and 5, 6, 7. I mean, they did not get but 1 to 2%.
Well, anywhere they had more than 75 missiles coming in, they had 1 or 2 strike the ground. So this is telling the Russians and the Chinese that this defense shield can be overwhelmed. So this defense shield, now the one they're talking about putting in the United States is much different, it's much larger. It also will have other countries involved in it. We'll also have ships at sea and airplanes. So it's a little bit different than what they have over there. It'll be about 5 times the coverage, but really, we have a big country.
I would likely imagine they would dedicate several older nuclear subs, because they can operate at least the LA class. I think the Ohio class can operate a little longer underwater, but LA class can operate for a minimum of 90 days under water without coming up. That's if they have enough food supplies. That's like that's like the max they can do. But if they have more than enough food supplies, they can stay down longer. They only have to come up, for a little bit every, I don't know how many hours, days, weeks, but just to change the air. But they don't even have to come up above the water. All they have to do is come up and drop a snorkel, suck up some oxygen, and they go back down. It's a very, very cool system. I would love to have one.
They've got and well, some of the new subs can stay as far as oxygen. They can stay.
Yeah, but if they're going to be selling any surplus subs, it's going to be the LA class first. And if I have the money, I'll buy one.
Yeah, it just depends what equipment, because they take a lot of the equipment out of there.
Oh yeah, most of the good.
So before we switch back into ufology, now remember, ladies and gentlemen, the Nimitz was supposed to be retired 2 years ago.
It's in the area right now.
Yeah, they shipped it over there. They loaded her up and sent her over there. So
count them.
So
5.
think about this: they were in the means that they were in the middle of stripping this ship down to have it sent over and scrapped. When all of a sudden they decided they needed to keep it and put it back into action. That means they had to put new equipment back on it. But still, now they're upgrading all the equipment. So are they going to take it down now? Ooh, I don't know.
No, it's in the area. They showed a map the other night.
No, I mean when it comes back, and they're going to go ahead and send it to the scrapyard.
I guess it depends on how well it performs in whatever upcoming.
I think if I remember what they said the other day, they're going to hang on to it until at least 2 of the new Ford class carriers are on duty, and there's only 1 Ford class carrier on duty right now, people. Technically, there's a second one out there.
In the area, there are 5 carrier groups. One in the Black Sea between Ukraine and Russia, like I said the other night. 3 in the Mediterranean, and they announced that the Nimitz. I don't know if it's the new one going out there, but the 5th group is the Nimitz, and that's in the Red Sea over by Saudi Arabia. So, if Trump says we have control of the air above Iran. With 5 carrier groups, we absolutely do. If they try to launch anything, even a glider we'll know, and we can hit it from our ships before even one of our planes gets off the deck. So
Yeah, well, I mean, Israel, Israel's got has control of the space, the airspace over there. So as long as they got it, there's no real need for us to get involved other than help shoot down missiles. But
well, we have been doing, by the way.
no, which I know. And well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll get into all of that on Friday. How deep, what's going on, what can we expect? By then, Trump will have kind of made up his mind on some of the other stuff he plans on doing. So we'll know what's going on. But anyway, enough about all of that. Y'all Friday night we'll be talking about it in great detail.
Yeah.
I mean, really,
Hours.
yeah. So yeah, it goes 3 to 4 depending on how tired we are. What was that? No. Technically, it show's a 3-hour show, but it can be a 4-hour show. It just depends. We all work, so you never know how tired we are on Friday.
And it depends on how much food our better halves bring us while we're sitting.
Yes.
Because I come from work and get on the air in
Yeah.
most cases.
But it also just decides, also whatever kind of stories we're talking about, because it takes energy. So certain stories give you energy, like these kind of stories will be giving you energy. Oh, we're going to get in depth. We got some stuff. We got to talk about the Ukraine. We got to talk about Iran. We got to talk about all the equipment we have over there right now. Is it safe to have 5 carrier groups in one area? That's a
They're
big
not
target.
in one area though. There's 3 in one place and 2 in 2 other places. So
yes, but if you're sending nukes over, they're close enough together that
the Mediterranean is pretty would be the worst place to be if you're in that carrier group.
Jimmy, we have 11 carrier groups. Yes, that's what we currently have, and when they're all together, they are a fierce force to be reckoned
5
with.
of them are probably the entire command sub Atlantic and command fleet Atlantic is all over there. Like that's everything we have Navy wise, except for the Coast Guard, is over there right now. The West Coast stuff is probably on standby.
They're sailing around doing their thing. They got other things. They're keeping an eye on China and Russia.
I guarantee you, they're filling up on food stores and weapons too.
Yes, we also had another. We had a Russian sub sail up one of the Chinese rivers, all the way to one of their where they build their big ships. Surface, turn around, go back under, and disappear.
Damn.
And the Chinese had no idea it was there or where it went afterwards.
Which river did it come up? The Yangtze?
I don't know. It was a big one because it's got to be a deep river. Got to be a deep river to accommodate a submarine. Because I know when they come up to Mississippi, once they pass New Orleans, they have to come up above water.
Yeah,
and even in some places, well, it's not because of the depth; it's because of the shit crossing over the river. We have pipes going across, so you don't want a nuclear submarine running into a fuel line. Just so they don't cross at the bottom; they cross at different depths because the ships only usually draw about 30 feet. The big ships usually only draw about 30 feet. And a sub can sit at 100. Anything below that, they shouldn't be going down that low. So that's our rivers. That's not the Chinese rivers. Chinese rivers probably got the same problem. They probably got stuff crossing too. But, well, they don't always put them underground. No. Depends on the area. What's the stratus like, the rock strata like on the other side of that river? When you got to come back and start moving through the kind of ground and stuff, you want something that those pipe layers can go pretty quickly with. Most countries try not to do above pipe laying; they try to go underground. There's lots of reasons why, mainly because of spills, but there's lots of reasons why. Well, they're protected from lightning. I mean, they're steel, so lightning will hit one and explode the son of a gun. So there's stuff like that. There's lots of reasons they keep them. Jesse, that's a good question for Friday. How does the president make transatlantic calls and keep them secure? He's not making them on a cell phone. I can tell you that. We still have hard lines going across. What are you talking about? We have dedicated, secure lines to most of the world's nations. Well, you could probably tap into one, but you're not going to know what they're saying. It's encoded on each end. So if you pick it up in the middle, you're going to get jibber jabber. Yeah, you'd have to have the phone that they're talking to on each end to decode it. It's a very good system. Actually, Signal's the one that made it popular. Yeah. End to end. I forgot what they call it, end to end, but it works.
End-to-end encryption.
Yeah, in the encryption. That's why Signal started using. That's why they arrested this guy. I think it was in Spain or somewhere, and put him in jail because they could not break his encryption because they had some criminal, and they were trying to get it and they couldn't break his encryption. He said, "I can't help you with that," and they put him in jail over it. And he said, "I still can't help you with that. It's end-to-end encryption. There's nothing I can do for you." He said, "It's a different encryption on every phone."
You have to have one of the machines that either sent it or received it to get the encryption.
Yeah, and actually, he said that you have to have you have to have both. He said the way it actually works is it sends a thing to the phone to identify this phone, and then it has a mixed encryption from the two phones. So without both phones, you can't decrypt it. I was like, what? That's beastified. That's next level, is what that is. He's not playing around. So that's why when people say,
level?
yeah, so that's why people say when they're saying that they're not safe to be on, when like, you know, these different military people are talking on, well, they are safe to be on. They're most safe encryption on the planet right now, and the bitch part is it's public. It's not even military.
From what I understand, though, the NSA is still able to read almost all communications, whether it's cell phones.
They tried this. They tried. So far, I know 5 countries have tried to hack Signal, have not been able to do it. Russia, China, the United States, Spain, and Britain. None of them have had success doing it.
Yeah, and some of the most successful hackers are from Britain.
Yeah, so, you know, the thing of it is, it's a type of encryption that if you don't have this receiver, you're not getting. So if you've had the receiver, you can trick the other receiver. So if you've got one of the two, you can trick the other one. Even though you're in the wrong location, you can still trick the other one to think it's in the right location and go ahead and send you the encryption. What it does is, so if I'm calling you on Signal, my phone is sending an encryption along with it. When it gets to your phone's already encrypted. So when the two phones meet, they do their encryptions together, and then they open up the signal for us to listen to. It's not like it's just encrypted on one end. That's what makes it so cool. It's encrypted on both ends. Guys, don't ask me. I'm not a hacker. I know a lot about this kind of stuff, but look, that's about as much as I know. And then that's only because it was explained by one of the military people why we can't hack it. So now you know every terrorist in the country on the world now uses Signal, right? The owner had talked about maybe building something in their computer that I can identify both ends. He said, but then that's dangerous because if somebody hacks a computer, they get everybody's stuff, not just one. So I don't know how it's going to work out. We'll wait and see. I don't even know if he's still in jail or not. But I know he went to jail for, he was in jail last time I had heard about it. Well, they were pissed. Whoever it was pissed. It's part of it. I mean, you can't look at Apple. Apple did the same thing when they tried to get in that Apple phone, and then finally they threatened to put the president of Apple in jail, and then mysteriously Apple could get into your phone. So just so you know, ladies and gentlemen, if you have an Apple phone, there is a way for the Apple people to hack the phone and give it to whoever needs it. I know, ain't that a bitch?
Yeah, that's with or without a warrant. So
yeah, so you know, I don't know what to tell you when you know, if you got an Apple phone, I would maybe think about something else.
I haven't had one. I've always enjoyed their laptops and desk computers, desktops, but because they're hard to get viruses for. Same with their cell phones, but since the technology is proprietary, like Joe says, they can hack into it and give your vital information from your computers to anybody.
Yeah, so Apple never said they couldn't do it. They just said they couldn't do it because
do it or whatever. Yeah,
they refused to do it, and they were even giving warrants. And then finally, I don't know who it was. I think it was DHS. Said, "Well, we're going to put you in jail then until we get what we need." And then he was all of a sudden, mysteriously, it was like, "Okay, we'll let you in." Like, no, it's got nothing to do with aliens, but still, it's the way things work. But when you think about these kind of things,
this was for a murder case, I believe, and they needed to get into what the suspect.
It was bad, whatever it was. Yeah, I remember it was a pretty bad case, and they were like, "Nope, we're not letting you in." But
I mean, it turns out it was the right thing to do, but it's still kind of effed up that they can do that.
It's just effed up that our government couldn't break
law enforcement,
the FBI, the FBI, NSA, and CIA. But think about it, it was the FBI, NSA, and CIA could not break
It's
this
all law
encryption.
enforcement. Yeah, I mean,
That was ridiculous.
Strong arm. They strong armed him to making them do what they wanted.
That was totally ridiculous. What do you mean, Jimmy? Oh, my face looks funny. Thank you. No, my trigeminal now it comes and goes about every 18 months. Well, it's on its up cycle right now. So for the next anywhere from a month to 3 months, I'll be and it just comes when it wants to. I'll be in a lot of pain. Just depends. Anything can set it off. Smoking weed definitely sets it off. It's well, no, as long as I'm taking these things right here, it pretty much keeps it at least mostly at bay. Was it, Chris? Yes, it is. It's called the suicide disease. More people commit suicide from this disease than any other disease on the planet, including cancer. Yeah, well, it's the pain is intense. I don't know how to explain it, because for me, it feels like someone took a ice pick and heated it up till it was glowing white, and then stuck it in the center of my eye and just scrambled it around.
Yeah.
And then as that was going on, all my teeth and jaw and ear were throbbing with it. It's the trigeminal nerve controls. So for me, it's this side of my face. So it controls the whole right side of my face. My eye nerves, all my eye nerves, my sinus nerves, my jaws, my teeth, all of that. And it sets it all off at one time. It's not like one at a time. It sets it off. It's just the eye, for some reason, is the most intense. Well, yeah, but I can tell when it's getting better. I mean, when the pain's subsiding, because I can start feeling my jaw hurting. Yeah, my teeth. That's how intense it is. It makes a toothache look like a cakewalk. Shit makes a kidney stone look like a cakewalk.
Kidney stones are pretty intense.
I know, I've had them, and they're not even close to this. I don't explain it to you guys. That's why. But so far, to date, more people have committed suicide from having this disease than any other disease on the planet. And there's two forms of it. I've got the other kind. So they got the first kind where if you do like this, it sets it off. Or if you're shaving or brushing your teeth or even eating, all that stuff can set it off. All that can set it off for me. But mine lasts much longer. It lasts anywhere from a half hour to 2 hours. It's just intense pain. I took 4 Percocets back to back one night and didn't even phase it. No, it didn't even phase. An hour later, I was still in that much pain. These pills they give you aren't pain pills and nerve blockers. They do help quite a lot. It's they do help quite a lot. I don't know. But the kind I got comes and goes about every 18 months. So it's a more intense pain, and it lasts quite a bit longer than the other ones. So the other trigeminal now, the pain's intense, but it usually goes away in 3 to 5 minutes. For me, it's like I said, a half hour to an hour easy. So it just depends how many of these pills I got in me, and if I got some hot water around where I can put a hot water patch over my eye. It's horrible. Yes, and thank you, Denise. I've been dealing. Well, you know what's funny about this? I've been having it for at least 8 years. 4 years I went through hell with dentists, thinking it was some kind of messed up nerve. They were yanking teeth, changing teeth. They yanked all at once, and it turned out not to have anything to do with a tooth. It's because the trigeminal nerve runs to my face. Oh yeah, I should sue them, but I probably won't. The treatments or they got 2 treatments where they go in, and it's called the gamma knife, and they numb out the nerve, but it's only good for 2 years. Well, since I get it every 18 months or every 16 to 20 months, that really doesn't really work for me, and I have to get it radiated for it done. The other one, they drill a hole right here and go all the way back through the spine. I got to drill a little hole in the sac that goes around your brain, and they put a pillow, yes, a pillow in between the blood vessel and the nerve. And that'll last up to 12 years, but it has lots of consequences. So it takes anywhere from 6 weeks to 6 months before they let you out of the hospital. And then another 6 or 8 weeks. There's like a whole year you can't lift anything over 20 pounds. Because if you burst that little where it went into your brain sac, all that fluid will come under your brain and you will just die instantly.
Damn.
Yeah. So it's like deal with it and move on with life. Yeah, it sucks. I wish the aliens would come fix it. They would be much on my list, much better on my higher list. I would love them long time. Yes, long time. I'm telling you, long time. Anyway, we got completely off subject, but first off, we know that aliens have been on the Earth for a long, long, long time.
Long time. There is a rumor from some abductee contactees that they have been shown the equivalent, whatever the aliens equivalent is to our like DVDs, movies, footage, film footage of dinosaurs alive on Earth, which would be
which I wouldn't doubt, because let me see if I can find it. I'm gonna see if I can find this map real quick. Let's see, where is it at? No, I'm not trying to create a map. Google AI and them sometimes are too smart for its own good. So I typed in map of the creator. That's what I typed in. So now it's giving me create custom maps, build your own map, build your map in your spreadsheet. Now this has nothing to do with the map of the creator. Like I said, I'm really thinking that sometimes this AI shit's too smart for its own good.
Yeah.
What's that, Jimmy? Because it's a simple thing. The map of the creator has been around a long time. It's not something new. It should come right up when you type in for it, but for some reason, it wants to give me all this other bullshit first. Because Google believes in advertisement, and they believe usually the first 5 or 10 on Google, it's going to be advertisement. Well, in all fairness, we used to be part of that advertisement, and we may be again one day. Right now, we're not. But this whole page is create maps. Okay, here we go. Map of the creator, Russia. Maybe I can find it here. Okay, so let's do this. Let's see if I can pull this up. Now, this map supposedly is 120 million years old. Yes, people, 120 million years. Now, as far as I know, there was no humans on the planet back then. What do you mean, Kirby? Oh, because I wrote soul up there. Okay, no. I'll make Jay put a 3 behind it. Okay, how's that? Somebody bitched at me because I wrote soul without putting 3 behind it. On a couple of places, I did.
No, but I mean, maybe that's actually the right question. Are they interested in our sun, which is called Sol, or are they interested in our planet, Sol 3? Or are they just interested in this system in general? Because since it's not in the other, since we're between two arms of the galaxy, it might be a pretty good strategic place to launch attacks if you need to into either one of the two arms.
Well, that's what we always thought about what Charles Hall's people might be here for, to use it for those kind of attacks. But then the fact that the Greys let them stay here makes me wonder if it's not for something else. Maybe they're like a recon or maybe they're a resupplying group.
Perhaps the Greys are afraid of the tall whites.
Well, no, the Greys aren't scared of anybody. They work for the light beams. Why would they be scared of anybody?
Well, but we don't really know, except for what Charles Hall says, of what the tall whites can do. They may be as...
No, we do know a lot about their technology. And if you listen to Charles Hall and his technology, they don't sound like that, but maybe 500 years ahead of us. They have a lot of button and click technology.
So Star Trek level.
Yeah, they're probably, I don't even think they're Star Trek level.
Star Trek level is about 400 or 500 years from now. Yes.
Yeah, but I don't think even think they're that high. You know what? If we had to pick, maybe Babylon 5 level, not the Greys. I mean, not the Shadows or the Forlorns, but everybody else. They seem to be at that level. Because he talks about the way they travel and the way they go on and off of Earth. That sounds a lot. I mean, the engine uses a rocket thrust to get off the planet. Not a solid rocket like we use, but still, it's using a rocket thrust. So that can't be but 300 to 500 years at most. He talks about them using some other people's technology for going through space. So that sounds like maybe a gate technology of some kind.
Well, I think we're on the brink of coming up with a standalone jet, a reusable jet that could be used as a rocket to escape Earth's gravity. I don't think we're far from it. We got scramjets and ramjets and other kinds of really.
Well, we have reusable rockets now that can leave Earth.
But they still use solid fuel, do they not?
No, they use liquid fuels. Yeah, well, most of them use liquid foods, not all of them. I don't want to drop everything into a bucket because some of them don't. But I don't have Siri in here with me. I would ask her, but I thought the Falcon 9 ran on some type of mix. It's
Hey, Google. Oh, she
I
can't
don't
use
know.
the internet right now. Bullshit.
There have been a lot of problems with all these AIs lately. So anyway, while we're looking for stuff, let me go ahead and see if I can blow this map up. So if you're looking, ladies and gentlemen, you see the green and then you see the map.
Yes.
So the green, the map is the green. That's what it is. So this is what the problem is. If you're looking at it the way we're looking at it, this is an aerial view of this.
Yeah, in reverse though, it looks like.
It may have it upside down. I'm not sure.
Well,
Because I can see this going down here. I can see this bend out here.
Blue water in the green picture. It's almost at the top of the brown picture, but so it looks like you have them mirrored like that.
You know what's kind of weird? So we see this piece here, and then we see this down here. Well, that's easily this, and you see it take off this one. You see it take off here, but when you get up here,
look at all the arms on it.
This thing has changed. This top one has changed.
Yeah.
So it used to be in a different location than it was now, or you can't see it because of the foliage.
Or I think it's reversed. It's because the same, not only it looks like a bird's beak is evident on both sides. They're at the top of the brown one and in the green one. If you were to flip it, they would match.
Well, see this right here.
That one arm isn't there on the brown map either.
Yeah. So this piece right here is this piece right here.
Yeah.
This piece right here is the start of this piece that just takes off, which makes sense. It's 120 million years old, so it would make sense that this just started later on. So, but where are we? Are we top or bottom? Is this so? This has to be the bottom. If these didn't exist and came later on, this has to be the top. This is where the water's coming from, and it's pooling in here, and then it's going out here. But the only reason I'm making that assumption is because of where you said the bird beak is. There's no continuing out. So the water and this here changed. That's this one up here.
Yeah.
So it's changed. So definitely. And these two have either gone away because these are also veins off of this river. So is this. Wait, I see some water down here. So let's follow this. So this might be this one or this one up here.
Topographic, like I'm seeing hills in the brown.
Yeah, like here and here.
Yeah, so that's probably just shadow from the valley. I don't think that's water.
But this is water right here.
I don't think it is. I think it's shadow from a valley.
Yeah, it looks exactly like this. And it's got
from my point of view, it looks green, like the surrounding foliage.
I can't blow it up. So anyway,
but it's green.
So there's a channel that runs from here to here. So that's definitely water. And this may be, but this also is shaped like water. And there's a stream that runs from here to there.
Yeah.
So these are both probably water, but they don't, on this map, they don't exist. So this is much later. But of course, we know it is because it's 120 million years old. That's one of the problems with this. But since we have these pieces.
Where's the picture in the green from? What part of the world?
This map I think was found in Russia.
No. Where is this feature on the Earth?
What do you mean? Oh, I'd have to look it up, but I forgot. It's on the thing. It tells you exactly where it's located and all.
Dashkestone.
So it's but this is a valley we're looking at. It's actually a valley. So, and this map is taken from an aerial view, and you can tell it by looking at it that it's taken from an aerial view. Now, as far as I know, there wasn't no one flying 120 million years ago. And there's another part of this map somewhere because it doesn't show you, but yeah, you see these little dots. There's a couple of them in there.
A series of civil engineering projects, including 7,457 miles or 12,000 kilometers of channels, several dams, and hieroglyphic notations of unknown origin. That's very substantial.
For 120 million years old, yes.
It's extremely, extremely important.
They argue about its age all the time, but that's what it's dating to. So,
well, how come no one's talking about it?
They talked about it for years, and then it just went away.
Yeah, 2020 was the last or the most recent article that came up.
The last place I heard it was that Pravda owned it in Russia. and it was in some museum
Well,
somewhere.
that makes sense. I mean, it says the area depicted is somewhere in the Ural Mountains.
So
It's part of Russia.
So it's interesting that this was found, and the waves actually represent something. I forgot what they represent, but you can see these little round spots all through it. These are places where resources were stored.
Where are the spots?
They're like, here's one right here.
Yeah.
Here's two up here. They're perfect circles. Here's another one down here. Here's 3 dots in a row. Here's 2 dots in a row. I got to make sure, it's not dirt on my screen when I'm pointing at them. But there's actually more than that. And they say when you're looking at a closer person.
I see 2 at the bottom on the green here. There's 2 white dots. Then there's 3 white dots in a triangular shape, and then maybe another white dot there.
They're saying that this was a resource map. And I'm pretty sure some of these waves are little hills and shit that we can't see because of the grass. The only reason come to think about this, the only reason we're seeing this as blue as we are is this little river must be pretty wide because this is taken from space. So, I mean, normally if it's a tiny little river, you wouldn't have noticed it. Like this feature right here, you can see the river starts here and you can see it in here, but you can't really see it up in here. You see a little blue spot right there. So it comes through here, but you can't see all of it, even though we know it's there. It's providing more. Same thing with this one. So this one runs out here. These things run all over the place. And when you get down here, see, this is this line. It's running out here, and then it turns up, which is what this one does. I don't know. Whoever took it, or whatever took it, I really don't know. I mean, I've heard a lot of arguments that it wasn't real, but I've heard every Russian scientist that's looked at it, and quite a few Chinese scientists, and quite a few, even some American scientists, said it was legit. So, I mean, I don't know what to think about it other than, wow, what the bleep was it? And don't forget, Jay, you can always enlarge the whole screen down here with the enlargement button down there.
If I can find it on, there they are.
There's always been an argument about what it is, though. Always. Which I don't hold that against them. I mean, it's good research is good research.
Well, I'm looking in they have the region of the Ural Mountains highlighted on Google Maps, and everything's in Russian, so I don't know what it says. However, there's no.
Oh yeah, it's just letting me change.
There's no real definition, and I don't see any significant bodies of water.
No, it just looks like a river.
No, I'm looking at the Google Maps of the Earth of Ural Mountains today, right now, as they are. Wherever these pictures were, these satellites went over a couple of months ago, last year, whatever, and there's no water in this Ural Mountains area.
See on this one, you can see it really good, and you can see these are holes. All of these are. These are probably was it pegs or something went in there. And these are cut grooves. When you look at this one, you can actually see quite a bit more detail.
Well, I see evidence of mining.
Pre-global flood.
Check this out.
This was before the flood, huh? Wow.
Wow.
And you can see this thing is well detailed.
Yeah, it's got topographic on it.
I can't see what that says. Oh, there you go. There's a little better map. Gives you much better understanding of what this is. And see, Jay was right. This thing is upside down. When you flip it over, it matches this one.
However, if it is the Ural Mountains, there is no running rivers in the Ural Mountains, but looks like there was strip mining going on.
Let's see, it's 120 million year old map. Ancient origins. Let's see what this says. Let's see what this says.
This one. I thought that's the page I was just looking at. Yeah.
Discovered. Yeah.
Though. Hieroglyphs of unknown origin.
Let's see. In 1999, 120 million years old. Engineering project including 7,004. Yep, that's what Jay was just reading to us. The map. Get off of here. Skip the ads, man. Come on. I swear I hate ads. That's not what I was looking for.
Something that's free or that we already pay for. You know, I mean, please. Paying for it should be commercial free.
I wonder what this was.
I don't know. The piece did fall out. A couple of places.
Is that a piece that fell out, or was that something they were using?
Or something they took out on purpose.
Storage, yeah, it could be that too. Let's see. Wait, what is this? Let me copy this right quick and switch this over to something else. I know, ladies and gentlemen, well, this is definitely, so you're talking about aliens related. This has definitely got to be alien related, or there was another advanced race living on our planet.
UFA or UFA?
It looks like UFA.
ULFA? I can't.
Let me go back. UFA, just UFA, just no L at all. So it's just UFA. I mean,
well, real quick, let me show this real quick.
Go ahead, take it over. I'm looking for this other thing. Pop it on up there. Do I have to remove it? Okay. Oops, sorry. I hit the wrong button.
No, look.
Wait, where'd you go?
Wrong button. The cat was standing on my shoulders, but then I turned. Ow! Now she's scratching my shoulders. She just fell off the chair. Ouch. All right. Which one are we putting up? We take that one down, put that one up. This is a modern day picture of the Ural Mountains, and you can see the strip mining has gone on. Probably modern day. I don't know what they're getting, lithium. But as I was looking through this, there's no water. I mean, none. That's the only water right there. I think. I don't even think that's water. It's not.
And this map is huge. This thing's almost as tall as a person.
Okay, yeah, that is water. That's the only water.
What
is it? UFA? What is it?
UFA. That's what I'm looking for right now. UFA. I keep getting other stuff though. UF Canyon water. Let's just type in water behind it.
UFO Mountains or UFO Canyon?
Yeah. Swift water rescue under. Yeah, there's definitely water there. Where is beyond me. Oh yeah, they even got a water park. Jesus, yeah, they got a lot of water. I don't know where the hell it's at though. I can't get a map of it.
Well, I'm gonna try it. So UFO Canyon, right?
Yeah, so I type in UFO Canyon and then I put water behind it. For some reason, it's trying to give me water parks, which which we don't really need. Sorry, guys.
UFO River.
Yeah, there's definitely water.
Here's the UFO River.
Big Cotton Canyon swift currents.
Wow, I don't see any blue. It's very brown. But let's see if we can find that.
It says it's very fast moving.
Looks like it's cutting a pretty big swath through.
And then it says it's connected with some KANGEN, whatever that is. Shit, they even got a polo club.
Kandar. Krasny.
I wonder if I use, you know what, maybe I should use river instead of water.
Type in UFO River.
That's what I'm doing. I'm actually using Canyon. It goes right back to Swift Rescue, 120-year-old map found, proof of lost ancients, UFO Canyon. You can see.
I don't really see that body
from the city. Oh, wait a minute now. It says you can see Yafa Canyon, the break of the Earth's crust stretched out from the city of Yafa all the way to Stir. I'm not even going to pronounce this correctly, ladies and gentlemen. It's STRLITIMAK.
Spell it.
Yeah, that's what STRLITIMAK.
Sternlitamac. Okay, I can see. Yeah. All right, so it's somewhere between.
At the moment of the URSHAK River.
Well, I see UFO River, URSHK
River. Yeah, there's a UFO River, and then there's a URS. There's a Urshake River or something.
I see Belaya River, UFO River.
We got a river. The UFO River seems to be a pretty big ass river.
Yeah.
Ranch Supply. Yeah, let's see.
River. Well, there's UFA, Y-O-A in Russian, and then it says there's a wall, like a cave wall, going all the way down to Sternlitamak.
They said there's a split in the earth from one city to the other city, like something took a gouge out of it. I'm wondering what the hell that is. Maybe it's the same thing.
Is this on the screen? I mean, are we looking right at it? Hang on a second. Yeah, we're still looking at it, right? You got. I'm moving the map. I mean, this is it, right? Can you guys see that? Where did it go?
There's a lot of these ones with the archaeology world.
Okay, so there's the city you mentioned, Sternlitamak, but where's the gouge? I don't see a gouge anywhere.
I'm thinking they're talking about the damn river. Oh, unless they're talking about this. Hold on, let me pop this up. This could be.
There's a Ulitsa Babushkina. That's a road. Never mind.
Let me find where we are. Okay, add the stage. All right. Oh, you're up there. Take it down for a minute. I'm gonna pop this picture of this map up here, or actually of this. Let's see. No, that's not what I wanted. Come on, get off of there. Why don't you stop? Remove. That's what I want you to do is remove. Okay, stop screen. Okay, there we go. Bitch wouldn't stop screen for me.
You have to stop the screen to move, put a new one on.
Share screen. Yeah, see this? This is a little different. Where are we? What the hell's in the middle of the damn thing?
Can add. Close.
Yeah, I just gotta find it. I'm not even on that page. Where the hell did that page go?
If you look in the tabs, there should be a little blue rectangle that tells you which one is being shared.
I know, usually there is. For some reason,
they're too small, it might be highlighted in blue or whatever color your highlights are. It might be different color.
Let's see.
Or flashing.
Okay, that's not us. It's got to be right here. That's not us. Let's just close this one. Be one less to look for. I don't know what. Okay, what to bleep? Maybe it's on. Nope, it's not on that one. It's got to be 2 on 1 somewhere then. All right. Oh yeah, there we go. It's 2 on 1.
Isn't it weird that we're talking about UFOs and we're concentrating on a city UFA in English?
It is a little odd. Okay, here we go. Get out the way, man. Everything wants to jump up and switch. What problem? You have too much stuff on your screen open.
Advanced civilization.
Okay, so now when you're looking at this,
the buildings all over the planet weren't enough. I mean, Jesus Christ, people.
So we're looking at this big ass. We're looking at this big thing. Here's they got the water coming down. It's showing you on here.
Yeah.
Now you have this big ass gouge of water, with these little stones sticking out all over the place. Could that be this chunk over here?
Oh, I guess so. Maybe.
I mean, I'm guessing at this point.
But it came and like scooped up whatever technology was there.
I don't know, but there's definitely a little tributary running to it. There's actually 2 of them.
Yeah, well, there's 2 on that. Yeah.
And there's 2 showing up on this map.
What does the bottom of it look like? Does it have a notch like that on the rock? It's probably grown since then.
Man, what's all this water out here?
I don't know. It's on your computer.
I know. I'm not arguing. I'm just looking. I'm just looking to see what it is. Look at the size of this thing. This thing is huge.
Big. It looks pretty big.
Well, there's a guy was standing next to it, came up to his neck.
Yeah.
And okay, we don't care what you are, chick. We don't care what you are, chick. But it is weird. Let me go back up here. This is weird the way this is. There's one of the hieroglyphs right there. Look how this thing is set up. Man, for 120 million years, that looks pretty good.
It looks kind of like some of the observation, celestial observation discs of the Sumerians.
You know, it's funny how many references there are to this when you start looking for it. Because I'm just looking for the river right now, and I'm getting more things about the 120-year-old object found than anything else. 120-year-old map found proof of lost ancient civilizations. And they're all saying it was before the flood. Now, you see, when you look at these, look how much deeper these are.
Well, they think the flood was around 65 million years ago.
Wait, let me put this up here so we can see it. Wrong one. Present. Share screen. Pop it up. Pop it up. Pop it up. No, hey Leah, what you doing? So
She's driving
hey,
home from work.
so look at the now you can see the depth cut in. So when you look at the turn in the river up
Yeah,
here, it's deep. It's deep and it's crevassy. You can see it comes up and
it's
runs
on
up
purpose.
from here. Yeah, and then there's all kind of cracks through all of this. This was designed like this important. And then here's some type of resource hole. This was probably where resources were. This might have been a freshwater pit.
I don't know.
You know, since it's off
But
on
at a
its
different
own.
angle, there's some things on there, those scratchings in there that when you put it at a different angle, they represent a topographic map of the hills and valleys around this body of water.
It looks yeah, no, that's probably what all this is.
Yeah,
It's
like I said, on the other picture at a different angle, you can tell it's a topographic map. It's deliberate. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. All those cracks and gouges in there are 120 million year old art. It's cartography.
so somebody back in the day, 120 million years ago, was looking at these for some reason or another. It's we don't know why. We just know
Well,
it existed.
if it legitimately matches to an actual legitimate body of water or bodies of water, so there's lots of rivers coming in and out of that damn thing. If that matches or hashes up with something we have today, that's significant. It's not an accident. Nature doesn't accidentally make maps of, topography.
Now, I'm not sure what this is. 8 maps of the creator, June 6th at 4 p.m. Moscow time. Pravda RU will hold an online press conference. Doctor of Physical and Mechanical Science, Alexander Kurov, the professor of Bashar State University, found in something evidence of existence of ancient high developed civilization in the Urals. He finds a huge slab whose age is supposed to be 120 million years old. I like how they use that, supposed to be.
Yeah.
Our research topic is about the possible migration of ancient Chinese to the territory of modern Russia, Siberia, and Urals. We have discovered letters on rocks made in ancient Chinese about 3,000 years ago. During our research, okay, this isn't Chinese. I can look at it and say it ain't Chinese. There's no Chinese symbols on it. Chinese were freaks about putting symbols on it.
Didn't he not say ancient Chinese? Because ancient Chinese is completely different from modern.
He said 3,000 years. That's nothing that we wouldn't know about.
Yeah.
It's so I don't, guys. I'm sorry, that's not Chinese though. But still, Chinese is still those type of letters. They just meant different things.
They're not letters so much as they are pictograms or ideograms.
Yeah. There were 6 expeditions organized in 28 in July 1999, 1.6 meters. We found the plate now called the Dishkin Cayman. Is a stone in Russia. Okay, yeah, we already knew that 1.5 meters high. So if you about 5 foot tall. It weighs more than a ton. It's a relief map done in 3D.
Wow.
The opinion is it's a relief. It's a relief done in 3D.
This map we're talking about, they believe it's like a bas relief kind of thing.
It says 16 thick. It weighs more than 1 ton. In science opinion, it's a relief. They're talking about it's like a relief map. It's like where you put your stuff when you need somebody to come in and help you out.
Well, I was calling it a topographic map, but yeah, either way, I guess what they mean by that is not only is it topographical, but if you can run your hands on it, there'll be bumps and valleys in it that would match, what's on the.
Well, they've always said that it was showing where
wood.
It was always saying, they always said that whoever this map belonged to had done it from an aerial view to show where all their different things were that they needed to live and survive on. And it clearly showed different areas where they had stuff. And since then, I remember the one guy found where one of the circles were It looked like a grain elevator, like it was holding grain. You know, like you would see with the Hopis, those round ones you'd see with the Hopis out in Colorado. It looked like that.
We're looking out of adobe brick and crumbling.
Yeah, it was still intact. The only thing was missing was the roof, and they're pretty sure. Yeah, they're pretty sure they had taken samples of what looked like grain, but they never did come back with what it actually was. That was the last time I had heard anything about it. But yeah, it looked like just like any one of those stone grain elevators you've seen back in the day. It just didn't have the pointed roof on it anymore. It was gone because the roof was probably made out of wood.
Yeah.
And they said there's several of these things. They're just all over the place. It was like they were storing food, equipment, materials.
Isn't there also several mined
Oh,
out
wait.
areas of Africa that were mined out, they say, around 120 million years ago?
So we were absolutely happy. We thought we found a product made 2,000 years ago, and they said they were wrong. The plate itself is artificial. It was produced from special cement of 3 layers. The third layer is a white colored porcelain. It should be noted. And who the hell was doing this? They weren't even doing this 3,000 years ago.
Yeah, no. How old is this plate?
This is the one we're talking about. This is the map, 120 million year old map. This is the map
is
itself.
created out of 3 different layers of cement.
A cement with the top one being porcelain. So technically it's 2 layers of cement and porcelain. But I guess you could say porcelain concrete. So,
well, I mean, porcelain is a semi-liquid thing that you have to bake at a high temperature. You know, we're talking 1,200 degrees, I think.
So this gets even deeper. It says the third layer is a white colored porcelain. It should be noticed that the relief on the plate was not cut manually with some ancient stone cutter. It was evident that some mechanical work had cut it.
Wow. Who's doing this? Who's doing this analysis?
Actually, there's several different groups doing it. This one, hold on, let me see if it tells you up here. Let me jump back up to the top.
So I mean, why is this like you're writing history books right now? I mean, that like clearly shows, not movable print before.
From what this says, this is a group of scientists that were working for the Russians.
Those men would have no reason to lie. Why would they put their reputations on line for something?
Yeah, because it could help them. Yeah, let's see. Let's see. Noted dated the 18th century were found in archives. The UFO Governor General reported about 200 unusual stone slabs. So they found out about this in the 1800s. You heard that, right?
Huh?
They found out about this in the 1800s. They just didn't know what it was until later. The stone. Wow. Not just one stone. They found several carvings and other things. So originally they thought it was connected with the Chinese migrants and achieved, but then they realized that it wasn't Chinese.
Do they say what language it is? That's unknown.
They don't know.
Wow.
And what's funny is we do know the Chinese did use porcelain, but that was like 1,500. It was about 2,000 years ago.
Well, I mean, so I'm not sure exactly when it started, but it's not 120 million years ago, for one thing. For another thing, you have to achieve temperatures in a specifically designed clay oven called a kiln. The inside is specifically shaped, and there's you don't let any of the heat out, and you can achieve up to 1,200 degrees Fahrenheit, enough to melt rock and metal, and that's how porcelains are really created. So both of those technologies have to exist. And 120 million years ago, we didn't have fire, we didn't have rock carving, we didn't have porcelain, and we didn't, most importantly, have human beings.
So there were smaller of these maps that showed where the big maps were.
Really?
Yes. That made the scientists that searched in 1998 have informed a team of students from CHUVYROV launched the work. He hired a helicopter and first expedition carried flying around places where the slabs were supposed to be. Those, despite all efforts, the ancient slabs were not found, and very upset, even though the slabs were just beautiful legend, of course. And then they found this one. Let's see. The luck was unexpected during one of his trips to the village, and ex-chairman of local archaeology council Vladimir Kunovic came to him in a house, and his father. Anyway, we don't need all of that information. Are you searching for stone slabs? I have strange slabs in my yard. And did not look happy. Report says he told him they went and looked at him. This was July 21 of 1999 under the porch of the house. The slab with the dense leaf slab was so heavy that we together could not take it out. Holy crap. After they dug out the slab, searchers were struck with the size of the slab, 148 centimeters high, 106 centimeters wide, 16 centimeters thick. This thing was huge. It was at least 1 ton. The master of the house made special wooden rollers for the slab to move it around. This shit gets crazy. He said it had been in the family for a very long time.
Wow.
And they ruled out it being Chinese. And the group of Russians and Chinese specialists in the field of cartography, physics, mathematics, geology, chemistry, and Old Chinese language managed to precisely find out that the slab contains a map of the Ural region with the rivers Belya.
Belaya.
Yeah, Ufimka.
Didn't find that one.
And then Sutolka. And then Alexander Charkov said, while showing the lines on the stone to the journalist, you can see those rivers and canyons easily. You can see where they leave the city and move outward from. So they're basically saying that this thing was saying where the city is today, there was a city there 120 million years ago. That's just effed up. I don't know. It could be but aliens, unless it was some type of reptiles. I mean, I don't know what else it could be. No, it's serious. I mean, that map, 120 million years. I mean, that seriously puts man much older.
That's my earliest estimate. That there's at least 100 million years ago. If they were going to get the alleged dinosaurs that were captured, were the popular ones, the last age before the one before us. So I mean, that had to have been the same time frame.
I heard they had a rock quarry, and then they used dinosaurs to get the rocks out of the rock quarry.
Actually, there is a legend about that.
The foreman's name was Fred Flintstone.
I saw that documentary a long time ago when I was like 4.
So it's helped. They said that the things they did to the river helped them move over 1 quadrillion tons of water. Who the fuck was this? Excuse my language, people, but ain't no native guy doing this. This took serious understanding of how water flows, how Earth moves. This was not anything for any. I mean, you had to know serious mathematics for this. The Russian scientists agreed that whoever did this had to have an advanced understanding of mathematics and water flow. They said this could not have been done by a simpleton. That's what the Chinese said.
Wow.
Yeah. The Russians said it just seems to be a very advanced culture that lived before anyone else on the planet. The problem is who was this culture and what was this culture? Because there's nothing left behind that shows if it was humans, reptilians, or something else. Yeah. Now, there's one group of Chinese that keep trying to make the map at 3,000 years, but it just doesn't work. Something to do with the kind of porcelain it was.
Same as Puma Punku. What the hell was in the middle of that place? I mean, whatever was there was gone. They built walls around it, but whatever was there is gone.
There's the whole point with all these. When you start talking about aliens, and you have to go look at these things and say, okay, who is this? Where did this come from? Hey, Heidi. Hey, Liam. Hey, Mike. I'm sorry, guys. Who was this? I mean, who invented this? I mean, this is serious inventions. This even for people 3,000 years ago. This would have been serious inventions.
But think about this, dude. Pumapunku is 12,000 feet up in the mountains, man. I mean, that's 2,000 feet above the tree line. Certainly, the air is pretty thin up there. But whoever was up there didn't want anybody to come up there to them, and they built a huge wall around it to protect it.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a ship, maybe it was landed, maybe they left. I mean, that seems to be a pattern, right?
There's things when you look at the ancient world or pre-ancient world, there seemed to be stuff going on before everyone we talk about, the Mayans, the Aztecs, the Toltecs, the Egyptians, the Sumerians, the Meso, all of these people, the Indians. There seemed to be someone that came before them. So was it extraterrestrials? Was it a different race that's been wiped out? Was it the original? Was it our original family members, the ones from Mars? Somebody was here. I mean,
Star people. I mean, you decide.
Well, 55 million years ago, Mars was still an active planet. It was like Earth. It was actually better than Earth. Its climate was better. Its water flow was better. Everything was better about it.
It was further away from the sun, so it wasn't nearly as hot. Didn't really necessarily need a moon to regulate its seasons.
Yes, and you weren't dying from all that radiation. It's very interesting. It's really interesting to see where this stuff came from. What's that, Jenny? Yeah, I'm sorry, my face just looks a little funny today. It's most interesting is all I can tell you. It's very freaky weird. What the hell? Who the hell? What the hell
happened with Utah, New Mexico, Arizona, all these areas that were supposed to have been really plush and green and rainforesty, and then all of a sudden something happened to it. The Navajos said that was the third world, and then that's when the Star People came and took them away, and then brought them back into the fourth world, and then that fourth world was all dry and bone dry, and so something happened within that. When they say third and fourth world, they're talking about thousands and thousands of years in between. So very interesting stuff, though.
Well, it is. It's interesting, but we don't. When you go to Mesoamerica and you see whole societies just disappeared with nothing, you have to wonder. But remember this, ladies and gentlemen, when they talk about disappearing societies, there's an important part to this. So if there weren't things left behind like clothes and food and dishes and stuff, that means they left on their own. Yeah, they just picked up and packed up and left. Mm-hmm. And then when you go to one where you find stuff that's still there, then that means something else happened.
So think about it like this too. The Native Americans, there's not too many people on the planet that really have such a close relationship with aliens than Native Americans. They're very matter of fact when they talk about it. They're not, like you talk about, like the subject with a lot of people is still kind of weirded out and they don't know what to think. But you talk to Native Americans who live out west, they're going to say what they see every day, what they know, what they grew up with, the stories, and they're like the protectors of them. They don't call them.
That's what they would like. But that's what they would like to think. I don't think the Native Americans are near as close to aliens as people think they are. I know that's a lot of Native Americans, and they just don't seem to be that
positive
close.
Stories, except for those skinwalker types.
Yeah, well, skinwalkers can be a lot of things, and they can be a lot of places.
Witches, man, black. They got.
I was at Skinwalker Ranch for almost 4 weeks.
That's BS.
Boring.
That whole show, the guy, it's all BS. I'm talking about you want skinwalkers, you got to go to Shiprock. You got to talk to people there, and there's a blog that they talk about it frequently. Not just that. I mean, there's a Navajo blog, but they're like, oh yeah, I saw a skinwalker up by the treetops. Like, oh yeah, one was running after my car.
Yeah, well, we can find out. We got a native, whatchamacallit on this. He's a Navajo native. Whatchamacallit?
First Nation.
It's First Nation, but I mean, he's a
Carver Elder?
No, when you're the witch guy, the medicine man.
Oh, Shaman.
Yeah, that's what he is. And then we've had him on a show on the network before. So the thing of it is I have a hard time because I know a lot of Native Americans, and a lot of them seem to be scared of extraterrestrials, and a lot of them seem to be very happy about extraterrestrials. But when you hear them talk about them, you're kind of wondering like how much is this is legend and bullshit, and how much of this is real? Because there's a lot of legend and bullshit in it.
The ones who live on the res, man, and they will tell you. But I got this guy, Wally Brown. He's big on YouTube, kind of, sort of. He does Navajo language teaching. He's the elder, and also like the storyteller. He's got all the knowledge in their tribe. But I want him to come on, maybe just come on with us, not just necessarily on my show. I got the other Michael Angley coming on this Friday.
Yeah, I've seen that when you sent it to me earlier today. Yeah,
that's gonna be fun, dude. You're gonna love him because first of all, you'll have two Michael Angleys in the house. But he was full bird colonel in charge of special investigations in Kadena Airport Base in Okinawa. He's got some amazing stories. Plus, he's got decades in law enforcement and Treasury Department, that stuff. But you know what? I think he'll have some amazing insight about Iran. That's for sure, and capability, and just let him talk. He's also an author. He got his book called Child Finder about finding missing children. He does that too. So, but pretty interesting person. He's the legitimate Angley. I'm the loser Angley.
We've got Preston's other half joining us, I think, next week or the week after.
Oh, and I got Frank McKay. I invited him on. I'm not sure if he's going to come on this week or next week. He's the head of the Independence Party. He's a guy I hung out with way back in the day, and he's also on ABC.
Oh,
ABC
I'm glad you said that. What's his name? Dave, whatever the guy who's leaving the Democratic Party, the guy who's running it right now. Yeah. He offered to come on News on the Flip Side, so I sent him all the information.
Oh, wow.
I told him no. I said, he asked me, are y'all Democrats? I said, no. He said, are you Republicans? I said, no, most of us are centrists. I said, don't get me wrong. I said, we'll tell you when the Democrats done something good. It's just lately y'all haven't done anything good. So
when was that?
Yeah.
I said it makes it hard to have a proper conversation when you're party. So wait, we can't talk about this much because it's for Friday, but so CNN took a new poll. It is sad. We'll do these real fast, but so the Democratic Party for the Buy America is 15.5% is their favorable rating. Amongst their own party, it's only 26%.
They're shattered, dude. They're shattered. They're assassinating each other. That's how. Remember, I said that a long time ago. We talked about it on the show.
When you see what happened,
each other like a bunch of rats in a tunnel, man. Turn on each other, and that's what they're doing.
But we're going to save all that for Friday because there's a bunch we can talk about here.
I hear you. They got no leaders.
Guys, so come by Friday. So I was talking with Michelle the other night. We're gonna have to figure out some way. There's too much breaking news with Trump to only be doing a show on Friday. So
it's crazy.
Yes, and ladies and gentlemen, we're always looking for hosts and guest hosts and stuff. If you want to come on as a liberal and do a news show, you're more than welcome. You have to do it early in the day, right?
And then when you're crying, you can't be hating on us.
Yeah. So, but you don't necessarily have to come on one of our shows. You can have your own. So if you're a good host as a damn it, I seen what Heidi wrote. I almost said that out loud. Actually, I was going to reverse it and say something else. But if you're a good liberal host, you're more than welcome to come on. We have several liberal hosts on the network, but they don't like talking politics. Well, it's a tough group. And right now, the group you're talking to is very well educated on politics. We stay way up to date on what's going on, regardless of what party you're on. Yeah, sometimes too up to date, but we really keep a sharp eye. And there's 6 of us watching all the time just on this, not including all the other stuff we do. And then, of course, there's a couple of dozen people who send us stuff. And then we have 30 other hosts on the network that like to send us stuff. So it's just, come prepared is all I can tell you. Yeah. Excuse me. And if you're going to come on News on the Flip Side as a guest to talk politics, because you can come on News on the Flip Side to talk about a lot of stuff, but if you're coming on to talk politics, be up to current date on what's going on and be educated on.
Come heavy and don't come at all.
Come prepared.
You remember Stephanie, of course. I mean, Stephanie was like she would
came
tear your
prepared.
self-made out if you were wrong about something. I
Oh,
respected
yeah.
the shit out about her because that other one, Lily White, she didn't know anything. I
No,
love the girl,
Lily was
but she
well,
knew
Lily
nothing.
was great, but Lily
If we
was
call
what?
her out, she'd like hang up.
Now you see, Lily might know something now. Lily's getting in her late 30s now, but back then she was in her 20s. And it was a hard group. I mean, I told her one day, I said, "Don't come hang out on the panels unless you're ready to stand up for what
Don't
you
say
believe."
20, because all three of us probably at 12 years old
Thank
was
you,
talking
Heidi.
shit
Yeah,
about
well, I'm just
politics.
saying,
I grew up in a
don't come.
political family. They always talk politics.
Well, Jesse, that's the same for UFO stuff. Don't matter of fact, let me just put that out there. If you're coming on this any network, any show on this network, regardless who the host is or what we're talking about, come prepared because they're going to be prepared. We pride ourselves as a network being prepared to talk to anybody.
You want
I would put
evidence.
this group of hosts up against any radio network on the planet, much less in the country. You get
Evidence.
your asses kicked.
$5
Oh, yeah.
says in a group debate, this network versus all the guys on Ancient Aliens, we win.
Oh no, Ancient Aliens would be crying after 5 minutes. I made them cry so many times. Look, don't Ancient Alien people, I do love y'all, but you're easy to make cry. Plus, you've lost some of your really good people have passed away. So,
Yeah,
and
unfortunately.
Giorgio is not really into this. He just paid really well to keep his hair weird. I like Giorgio. I've met Giorgio several
I mean,
times.
in his defense, he's an editor.
He's been on this show 4 times.
And he speaks several languages. But, yeah, I mean, he's not the researcher. He's brought all this to light to the radio or to the television networks. And kudos to him.
His problem is we have researchers that actually do research. He has researchers that do whatever they think is going to be the topic for the week. Yeah, I seen that, Christopher.
And
did you
I
see
think
me on
they've
that
run out
show?
of topics.
So they did a show on what alien abduction is and who the best alien abduction people are, and I wasn't on the show. So they screwed everybody that was watching that show because there's nobody knows as much as I do about alien abduction.
I saw you on there.
Part of the research. Oh, I've been on a few times. For some reason, how can I say this? I was considered too controversial.
Mm-hmm.
You're the only one who knew what they were talking about. You know what I mean? Like.
Well, that's the problem is they didn't like that because we got it and we were talking to a couple people and I said, well, he was telling me what these 4 people and say. I said, well, this is why they're wrong. He said, damn, you'll just shoot them down like they're nothing. I said, well, you want me to be quiet? And he didn't say anything. And I noticed Prometheus didn't call me back. And then later on, I got a thing saying, oh, thank you, but we're going to do this instead. Look, guys, well, no, they brought me on all kind of stuff I've done. But the thing that I actually do the most of, which is alien abduction research, they haven't brought me on for.
Are they still on the air?
They're scared. They're still on. They're scared. No, they're scared because I'm mean. I don't play around. And we've got a lot of research to back us up these days, so it makes it harder to argue.
And we know they watch the network.
Yeah, we do.
They stole my catchphrase whenever I'm asked, the question, do aliens exist? My answer has always been, and I've been doing it on Jeff's show before I even got on any shows with Joe 10 years ago, and I've been saying it even before I was on the radio. My answer has always been, we are not alone. We have never been alone. We will never be alone. They took the first 2, so I can't really sue them, but they stole it from me, and it's their new catchphrase at the end of their logo at the beginning of the show now.
Krina, he's talking about Jeffrey Pritchett. Jeffrey's been with me. That's 12, 14 years now. But Jeffrey started out, he started out as a text host. Yeah, in text. I remember the first time he asked me to come do a show in text. I was like, you want me to do what? Text? I said, I can't text. What the hell's wrong with you?
Yeah, what are you talking about? I'm not a typer.
I said, man, I better have some voice to text. And look, voice to text hates me. It gets about 1/3 of what I say right.
Voice to text hates everybody.
Yes, me and voice to text don't get along. Christina, so when we go back to what Michael, Jay, and I were just talking about, well, Lee is gone, but when we just go back to what we were just talking about, the 120 million year old provider map and what we were talking about the Mesoamericans. The problem is there was something there before we were there. So, and remember this, we've talked about this on this show and the other show many times. We just debuted that 16,000-year-old city for y'all off the coast of Cuba. We went through quite a lot of information. Then we even talked about the 2 sunken cities off the coast of India. Both those cities, one is 15,000 years old, one's 16,000. They may be older. That's but that's the earliest frame. So first off, this was when the ice age was starting to end and everything was starting to flood. And when they talk about the Great Flood, sometimes I wonder, because think about this: this city is 16,000 feet. I mean, 16,000 years old, 2,000 feet below the water, and the other one's 900 feet below the water. Think about this. That's how much water filled in. That may have been the freaking Great Flood they were talking
At
about.
900 feet, you need a specialized scuba tank, do you not?
Yeah, at 2,000 feet on, you have to have an instrument to go down there.
You have to have a
I
dive
know for the just two sunken cities in Cuba. For some reason, I only want to talk about one. But my boy who drives the Yellow Submarine used to tell me about them. They would be driving through them. They had restrictions on how close they could get. Do what? Yeah, but
Ringo Starr?
yeah, I wish but this guy, they had restriction on how close they could get, what they could do, what they could touch. They did bring some stuff up. Found out because they were expecting to find either Egyptian hieroglyphs or Mesoamerican like Toltecs or something. They didn't find either one. Matter of fact, they have no idea who this city belongs to, but it don't belong to anybody recent. So who was it? Where was it? And remember, this thing is out by in between Florida and Cuba, which I guess at one point there was a land bridge there. So at one point, because at 900 feet, most of that was all above ground.
They built a city on it, yeah.
So they were walking over to Florida like it was nothing.
Well, think about this. What if we found a city that actually was built 110 million years ago underwater? That's a clincher right there.
Well, and that's the other thing, So when we talk about this thing 120 million years old, and it seems like it was marking another city, well, you know as well as I do, whatever was there was built on top of 3, 4, 5, 6 times by now. Is there anything left? I guess they could start excavating and find out. But I mean, look in Britain; they're always finding stuff 2,000 and 3,000 years old because they're digging shit up that they didn't even know was there anymore. Finding lost kings and stuff. They found Lost King in an underground parking lot of all places.
Isn't that kind of how they found Tintagel, which they think is the actual, city of Camelot for King Arthur?
I don't know. I've heard all kind of stuff, so it gets confusing after a while.
Weird archaeology over there.
Jenny, no, I mean, so these things, when you look at it, so we didn't even get into our main topic, so we'll put them on for next week. But it looks like if the Pravada map is a real map, they were here before we were even walking on the surface of the planet.
Yes.
I mean, they were here before we were even monkeys swinging in the trees. 120 million years ago is serious, people. That's first off, that's 65 million years before the Great Extinction.
Yeah.
So we all know what was running around on here: raptors, all kind of. Yeah, 75 million. Yeah, 75. No, you're right, 75. And so think about what was running around on the planet 120 million years ago. Well, we know there was T-Rex.
Let's find out.
I'm sure there was lots of raptors and all kind of sorts of stuff. So were these things reptilians that put this down? And honestly, it looks like if it wouldn't have been for the machine carving, I would have thought some ancient world culture had done
it. All right.
it.
What dinosaurs lived 120 million years ago? That would have been the late Cretaceous period. Wait, that is thing. Except cookies. Okay, so
they had cookies 120 million years ago. That sounds interesting.
Yeah, yummy. Here we go. Let me put this up.
Pop it up there.
Share screen. Dinosaurs from the late Cretaceous. Click. There we go. All right, this is pretty cool. Looks sort of familiar.
Yes, pretty much.
Velosaurus, Ankylosaurus. I've never heard of these. These things look like
Jurassic Park time.
Well, this is
so I see two raptors, 3, 4 raptors, 5 raptors.
Here's Electrosaurus. It looks like a small T-Rex. Albertosaurus. Ankylosaurus. That's like a Triceratops, I guess. Ankylosaurus. That's a popular one. That's a monster in Godzilla's world.
What's this little green one, man?
Huh?
What's this little green one?
And it's an Atrociraptor with feathers.
One of the first birds.
Here's some more. Here's some more with feathers. Bactrosaurus.
They don't know they had feathers. I don't
Oh,
believe
this colored one over here is Carcharodontosaurus. I'll bet you that's the forefather of great white sharks. There's the Carnosaur from the movies. There's a turkey dinner. Yum.
They're just, I mean, there you go. So there was lots of stuff to eat back there for anybody growing up.
Was there a T-Rex? Let's go forward.
I wonder. So I guess the real question is how many dangerous dinosaurs were there back then?
No flying things. It looks like nothing. I know it's
a really dangerous one called the genital sore. Remember?
Yeah. Well, there's right next to that you had the Pyroraptor.
There's that red one.
The red one.
Spinosaurus, I've heard of that.
I mean, there's a lot of them look like they're just plant eaters, but then there's a lot of them look like they might.
Spinosaurus is in Jurassic Park, even though it's a Cretaceous creature.
And they're all gone.
Yeah,
just like that.
All of these creatures are dead, gone.
Just like that.
Yeah, Triceratops, Tyrannosaurus.
Well, the sad part about these creatures, they were dead before the damn a meteor hit us. Nobody can explain any of that.
All of these creatures are Cretaceous, not Jurassic.
Yeah.
This is 101 to 66 million years ago.
Well, that's what would have been running around, people.
So Admiral Byrd said that there was woolly mammoths running around when he went to see the master down there.
You know, he's not the only one. The Native American Indians said there was mammoths running around until about 10 or 15,000 years ago.
Yeah.
I still believe in pterodactyls, man. People still see pterodactyls down south, like the Carolinas especially, and also out by Utah.
There are several pictures of Civil War era, both North and South soldiers with.
They've got pictures of them. They got pictures of people back in the day that killed pterodactyls.
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. I think they were pteranodons, though, at that point.
I mean, some of that stuff, Photoshop makes you not trust anything, but I think if you really look at a photo, you can tell.
Well, so some photos you can go because they're legit because you know when they were taken and by who. So there's a lot of times you can say, okay, well those are legit photos, but there's so many photos.
Either a daguerreotype or a tintype. So it's a metal plate that I think it's silver nitrate actually is the chemical inside of it, but there's a metal plate like tin or whatever the daguerreotype was. I don't know what kind of metal, but a very soft metal that's easily etched. And when the light hits the silver nitrate, it burns that image onto that tin or that metal, and it stays there. And there's no altering it once it's on there.
Heidi, there's no telling what's in the ocean.
It's impossible to make a double exposure.
I'll teach you something about daguerre, man. A lot of people don't know this. I was in the antique business, and this guy comes in. I had a few of them sitting on the table for sale, and with the box and everything, you open it up, and the velvets in there. They're really nice, We call them tin types, right? And he's like, "I'm going to teach you something." He pulls out his knife and he just pulls the thing out of the box, and there was a gold tin type, solid gold. That was the imprint. He said they used gold as the imprint on the tin type, and then used the photos from the tin, and then they put the gold one in the case behind. So out of the three that I had, I only had the one that actually had gold, but that was amazing. Amazing. If you ever see one in a garage sale, you know that about the thing, man. But I'm going to show you a picture. So tell me what this picture is. I mean, where is it? There it is.
That's bad.
Boom. You see? Oh, it's not up here.
Ooh.
So these are just people who took pictures. I mean, that ain't no bird.
I believe that's what's called a pteranodon, not a pterodactyl.
This was South Carolina, and they see them a lot. And they could be out there in the woods somewhere, existing as a small, and they're animals, man. What does it take for them to survive, really?
Well, if them condors live, these can live. They're about the same size as a condor, and we know condors are out there.
Yeah, I thought they're 16 to 20-foot wingspan, I believe.
I would imagine these are downside some.
There's a video on YouTube somewhere about they got like one in a flight, and it actually cried out, And then you think, is that someone just messing around with models or whatever, that type of thing.
Well, see, that's the problem now because the fucking drones can look like that. It's hard to say now, but in the old days,
This photo I'm not buying because it's too perfect. I mean, like the photography back then was terrible. You wouldn't really see all the little perfect slats in there, and look at the sign and the font on the sign. This wasn't some back in the day place, so so obviously it's someone messing around, and these guys look way too healthy, But again, this with the guy with the foot, looks like there's something janky going on there with this foot. You know what I mean? And they could have easily.
I would think a musket would be hard to kill one of these with.
But this doesn't look like it belongs there. But this one, that one is intriguing. That one's intriguing, because
See that's what I was saying to Jay. I thought they would downsize a little from the old days till now to make it easier to hide. See, that's about the size of a condor, maybe a little smaller. What do condors have? 5-foot wingspan, 6 foot, so they're about 12 foot across. They get big though, man. So, just knowing they're flying around could, and in Africa, they said they've seen these and
that's a condor though, isn't it?
Yeah, that's I don't know what that is. I can't see his head.
That's a condor.
No, they ain't no bird. Look at this.
That's a condor. Take my word for it. That's a condor.
Yeah, it's kind of
look at the wings. They ain't no condor.
No, condors have huge wings, dude. They're huge.
The tail goes down with a spike. Condors don't have a tail with a spike. Well, man, they ain't no condor. Look at that thing.
Well, I found the image you found of the pteranodon flying.
Look at that. That's a tail that goes down with a spike. And look at the wings on this thing. Ain't no condor. Look at his face.
Condor has tipped wings like an eagle. Eagles have the feathers that go out on the end. That's condors actually have those too. Condor is basically just a freaking giant ass vulture, is what it is.
But I believe that they were around. I mean, you know what? Just like the lake creatures, right? Like
there you go.
You had the one in Lake Champlain. People knew about that. Locally in Seneca Lake, there's a story from the early 1900s that they saw this like sea serpent, whatever it was, in the water, a huge thing. And then the captain ran it down. They didn't know what the hell it was. They got pictures of it lifting its head above water. It was like the Loch Ness type of thing, And then, but there was a sea creature like that. There was a creature in the Great Lakes. These are glacier lakes, So of course.
So these guys look like giant vultures, is what they look. Here's a good picture.
Yeah, but that's got feathers. That other thing didn't have any feathers. It was just solid. It was like.
No, I'm just showing this guy here. He's ugly, man. I don't know if I got him on the screen or not. Let me see.
Yeah, I think that's a picture of a condor. I really do. But the other picture of the pteranodon you threw up, Michael, I think I found the footage of it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hang on, let me close this off.
There's people, there's people who try to get video of these things, and they all describe the cry from it, like it's nothing like they ever heard. But is it a far stretch? I mean, all they have to do is survive. All
right, so here we go. I'm gonna hit play on this. This looks exactly like the thing you had, but the still you had. This is the movie.
Yeah, I think that might be it. I don't know, man. It doesn't look natural in flight.
Yeah, it looks mechanical.
There's something was screwy with that, but it's hard to tell. There was definitely something screwy with that wing, but
it doesn't look like it's flying and gliding.
Here's some more coming up. Yeah, that's definitely the one that you threw. The still you threw up. That's where that came from.
It's weird how his wings are flat.
Yeah, watch it when it flips, though.
That's fake. Somebody faked that shit. I don't know how though. Back in the day, I have to. What date does it give you a year when this was done?
This wasn't that long ago.
September 4th, 2015.
Oh no, there's
another one that I saw that thing looked and sounded real. It was just, you feel it in your gut if it's like legitimate,
Well, something else that
I would see it out of
think people are identifying the creature that you showed in that picture wrong. I don't think the pterodactyls. I think. Let me throw this up real quick. I think what we're seeing in these pictures, and I think the one in the Civil War pictures of the flying creature, the dinosaur. I think it's a pteranodon, not pterodactyl, because this is what the creature looks like. And I mean, this is an artist rendition of it, but that's the creature I saw in those Civil War pictures, especially the one to the left.
Well, I guess we're fine. What do you mean, Carol? The aliens eat them for dinner. That's why there's no more of them left. Yeah, you might be right. I wouldn't rule out what was going on 120 million years ago.
Very well could be. I mean, we all know that the dinosaurs are more like birds than reptiles, so a reptilian creature would not necessarily favor a bird like thingamajiggy.
Well, I always wonder, they always said that, okay, that the reptilians turned to grew feathers, but the problem was back in the day, none of them really had feathers. They all were built like the pterodactyl with skin flaps.
The game changer was they found a piece of, I don't know if it was clay, but it's now, so many years, it's now turned into rock, but this fossilized piece of whatever it was, dirt or ground where the creature died, it had feathers, clear outlines of feathers. I mean, just like a bird would have. And it shocked. I mean, I don't remember when it came out, but it's within the last 20 years.
Oh, no, I remember seeing it, but I remember seeing there was a lot of controversy with it, too.
Yeah.
This thing's proportioned right. And then the way he's dressed, probably early 1940s.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It could be one of those conglomerate creatures where they took the body of a turkey vulture and the body of a condor and married them together, and this is what you get. It looks like a bat with a
like the jackalope.
Yeah, like a jackalope. Exactly right. Yeah.
Like wartime type of stuff. Like he seems very young too, like a teenager. So I mean, whatever. I don't know, man.
It's hard to tell. It's just
the proportions are right. People like to
be a young bird.
I love hoaxing, man. It's fun. You know what I mean? But there's a time and a place for everything. I never do ghost hunting. Otherwise, it'd be like a waste of time. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like if I was going to hoax ghost hunting, I would have stuff flying through the air and people in the head.
Yeah.
Like Christopher. No, if it's real, then it's real. But if it's not, it's it's hard to tell back in the day.
They probably ate it.
Hey, Heidi. No, we'll see you over there. We're getting ready to close up because we got like 2 minutes and we got to go.
There's some meat on it.
Outer realms.
But I would have thought if that was legit, somebody would have taxidermied it somewhere.
Maybe it is a taxidermy in someone's garage somewhere, a barn.
It might be in a museum somewhere too.
I mean, the conclusion really is the evidence of advanced civilizations on this planet are as far back as at least 100 million years ago. We'll go as far as 120 with this evidence. But there are pictures of human beings riding dinosaurs on ancient clay pots found throughout Central and South America. There are footprints, fossilized footprints of dinosaurs that have walked by, and then a human walked by afterwards. Because if a human walked by and then a dinosaur walked over the human footprints, you wouldn't find it. The dinosaur would crush it, destroy it. So how do you get a fossilized human footprint inside of a dinosaur's fossilized footprint?
In Arkansas, what they found was they found dinosaur footprints, and then they found human footprints, and then they found dinosaur footprints. So what it looked like was one dinosaur came by probably earlier on. The footprint hardened up. The human came by following the footprints, and its footprints hardened up. And then the other one came by and walked after everything had hardened and walked on top of it. So they found them in the center of them. It's weird, but in order for them to be
a DNA strand, it's
so the dinosaur they found on top was 152 million years old, or give and take, 5 or 10 million, which means that human was 10 or 20 million years older than it was. That puts us closer to 200 million years ago, and I don't know, guys.
Minimum.
Anytime they dig around, they're finding more stuff. I'm not taking a stance on this because I really don't know. Because if Mars is where we came from, then humans could have been here much earlier than we think. Yeah. You have to remember, Mars 55 million years ago was an inhabitable planet in good shape. So the people there could have looked a lot like us. Maybe not just like us, but they could add fingers and toes, and they could have been on our planet walking around, looking at stuff, setting up resources, hanging out, playing, doing stuff.
6 fingers and 6 toes, and we lost the big head and the.
Because think about us, in 50 years, going to Mars is going to be like going to the moon. It's going to be nothing. We're going to go there. We're going to come back. I mean, as it is now, probably within 10 years, we'll be going there on a regular basis. So it's if that's true, then those aliens back then could have easily been coming and visited Earth. I mean, we'd have been there.
3-boobied Martian lady. You're gonna need 6 fingers and 6 toes.
Yeah. So anyway, though, guys and girls, we got to go. The Outer Realm is coming up. They have open mic night tonight, so go by and join them. I think Wayne is hanging out with her. I was on with her Tuesday on the Beyond the Outer Realm.
I saw that. It was good, man.
Yeah, it was a fun show. Y'all be sure to catch it tonight. It's going to be a good show. I will see her later tonight because we usually do stats after her shows on Wednesdays to catch up, and, just to see what's going on with all the hosts. But ladies, don't forget Friday we'll be here. We don't know how we're going to work out the new news show that we're going to put on across the network because it's a time issue. Because we have so many shows, it's going to be hard to do. And we are talking about a second channel, but right now that's even going to be hard to do. So we just have to find a place. I mean, with Trump, I don't think this is going to slow down for the next 4 years, and it may even get busier.
I said at the end of the election, we're in for a lot of bizarre fireworks the next 4 years, and they haven't even begun. Even though there's a lot of things exploding, this is just the beginning. We haven't even come to the crescendo yet.
Marshall, maybe we'll do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Maybe we will. We'll see. We got to do something though, because we're costing ourselves listeners because they're going other places to listen for that news that they'd rather get from us. I can tell that by the amount of questions that come in on this show that are not related to ufology.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, y'all go check out the Outer Realm. They're coming on right now. They're probably playing the intro music. Don't forget, Mike and I and Jay and whoever shows up on Saturday night is there, and then we'll be back on Friday night, and then we'll be back on Saturday night, and then Mike and I both do double shows on Saturday night, so you can catch him after the I was going to say the cage. I'm sorry, the chat. Not the cage, people. It's the chat, which is doing really good. Come by and check us all out. Remember, excuse me. If you're going to come by the chat, bring a topic with you.
Yeah.
Yes. It's the only show on the network that allows for the listeners to choose a topic.
We're going to break out in food.
Could even be food. We talk about food a lot.
Well, I went back 3 weeks and looked at our food show because we had like an hour and a half of food one night. First off, we didn't get any complaints, which was funny. We didn't get anybody sending anything in to change the topic, and our numbers held, which means they were enjoying. But we were pretty serious in the food. We weren't just fucking around with food. We were serious. We were getting some serious dishes and stuff. So you never know what you're going to catch on the show. Bring a topic with you. Yes, we'll be talking about the LA riots. Whoever asked me that. We'll be talking about Iran. We'll be talking about Israel. We'll be talking about everything that went on. For the past week, we'll be talking about those bogus 5 million numbers for King's Day. We'll be talking about all of that stuff. Anyway, on that note, I want to tell you thank you for joining in on UFO Undercover, United Public Radio. Until Friday, have some fun. Enjoy your life. Bring your topic for Saturday. Good night, everybody. Don't forget, go see The Outer Realm with Michelle and Wayne. Open topic night tonight. You don't get those often, so go cut up and cause trouble. Go over there, make a bunch of trouble, and then say Joe sent me. Don't say Mike sent me.